Hey, what's up? Zach here, and we have just learned that Rafa Nadal is considering additional injections into his foot to try to prolong his career before needing surgery. But what exactly are those injections he plans to get? What were the ones he had in the French Open final that allowed him to win? And are they a good thing or bad thing for his foot? Let's find out. So to help explain these injections that Rafa had during the French Open and the potential ones he's thinking about in the future, I made two drawings here of the foot. One of the foot bones here from the top and one here from kind of a quasi side view, almost kind of a tilted up view of the side. Now, as we know, Rafa's condition is Muller-Weiss, which is a condition where this bone here, the navicular, the keystone of the arch, begins to crumble here. You get these fracture lines, and this is the area where most pain is going to happen. And during the French Open, Rafa said he was getting injections into his foot to numb the pain or just to dull the pain, and that's why he said in the final he had a numb foot and he was worried about instability, but he'd rather have a numb foot and try to play versus not being able to play at all. Now, what kind of injections was he having and what nerves were they affecting? Now, on the top of the foot, you've got three main nerves. One going down here, that's the medial dorsocutaneous, intermediate dorsocutaneous, and lateral dorsocutaneous nerves. And those are sensory nerves. They don't have anything to do with function of the foot. They're just for sensation and basically pain receptors as well. And on the side view, you can see one goes down here, one goes here, and one goes right there. But aside from those three nerves, there's one big nerve that runs underneath here, right underneath the ankle bone, and under the bottom of the foot, and it kind of goes right here on the top view, right? That's the tibial nerve. Now that's the big nerve that supplies most of the sensation to your foot. However, it also provides motor control to your foot. So if you wanted to take all the pain away, you would just block this nerve right here. However, you can't, because if you block this nerve, then all of a sudden, a lot of your foot muscles won't work. And so even though that injection would take away all of your pain, it would also take away all of your performance. So usually in the foot, if you're going to do a pain-killing injection, which is just Novocaine, the same stuff your dentist gives you when they have to do a little procedure, or the same stuff we give into people's toes, we gotta take an ingrown toenail out, typically you will block these nerves that go right over the navicular here. And you have to block them before they get to that bone. That way the pain signals don't get back. Now you can also block the lateral dorsocutaneous, so you can block all three. Now that is gonna give significant pain relief, but remember, the more nerves you block, the more you're not gonna be able to feel your foot and the more instability you have. So typically what we'll do is we'll start with one, how's your pain? Next one, how's your pain? And then we'll keep going across. And depending on how the pain is, that depends on how many nerves you have to block. And a really common question I've been getting is, has he been getting a steroid or an anti-inflammatory or an NSAID injection? Well, the answer is, I really hope he's not been getting steroids or anti-inflammatories, NSAIDs, because a steroid or an anti-inflammatory will cause less blood flow to that bone. And remember, in this type of disease, Muller-Weiss, you need all the blood flow you can get. So a steroid or anti-inflammatory could actually make this worse in the short, medium, and long term. So typically when we're talking about pain-killing injections for a disease like Rafa has, it's usually just something like an anesthetic, hopefully one that lasts a pretty long time, 5 to 6 hours at least. But after that injection wears off, the pain is still there. Just because he can't feel it while he's been injected doesn't mean it's not still going on underneath the surface. But the new twist in this story is the fact that he's just announced that he might be getting an ablation of one of his nerves in his foot. Now, what is that? Well, an ablation is pretty much the same thing as blocking the nerve with an anesthetic, except it's more permanent. So instead of just blocking it with Novocaine or Marcaine or another anesthetic for 5 to 6 hours at a time, what they actually do there is they go in and fry that nerve, and therefore it cannot send signals whatsoever. Therefore, that part of the foot is completely numb. The problem with that is it is forever. And so that's why a lot of people are asking, well, why would he get an ablation of those nerves? Really, the answer to me is I think Rafa has a goal. He's got a certain number he wants to hit, number of wins, titles, the amount of Grand Slams he wants to put between himself and Djokovic. There's something he's aiming toward before going off into the sunset and having to have surgery. So basically that means you have to lock up the entire middle of the foot, and that takes a lot of the flexibility, if not all of the flexibility, out of your foot. And that makes professional tennis pretty darn hard to play. So my guess is he has talked to his doctors. He thinks he's got a plan probably for, you know, a set amount of time he wants to be playing. He's going to make this pain go away for the time he needs to, and then afterwards, it's surgery time. So if you want to see an in-depth breakdown of Rafa Nadal's foot condition and what he's been going through the last couple years to win these last few majors, make sure you click into this video up above and subscribe down below. Respect your rubber and foam and nerve receptors. See you in the next video.